I'm getting sales calls booked for free with ads right now by selling a prepaid VSL for $49, and I'm actively in the process of scaling my ads as much as physically possible, and I'm just going to show you how it works. So there are a couple steps here. It's really simple from a high level. The first thing we do is sell a $49 roadmap on a landing page with meta ads. I'll get into that in a second. From there, people automatically book a call in on their own, like a VSL, but at a way higher rate. I'll get into that. And then from there, on the call is where you deliver the roadmap, customize it to them, and then naturally upsell them into your high ticket service or whatever it is that you sell. So the first question is meta ads. Why meta ads? Which is a pretty fair question. The reasoning is pretty simple. On Meta, you get the quickest results as opposed to launching YouTube ads or something along these lines. From my experience, YouTube ads have taken as much as 2 months to fully optimize. It's not always that way. Different ad accounts behave differently, and sometimes you can get results in the first week. But with meta ads, you tend to get the best results immediately straight out the gate. And the reason this is important is because when we're selling a low ticket product, we want to make sure that what we're doing is eliminating the downside risk and the amount of money spent out of pocket. A big reason why I even created this funnel in the first place was because I was tired of spending hundreds of dollars on sales calls and just hoping somebody shows up. Maybe the show rate's 60% or something like that, and then it's just a much colder interaction altogether. And I wanted a way to warm people up, liquidate ad budget, and just bring more serious people through with the perks of automatic bookings and not having to call 500,000 people to book a call and hire appointment setters and do all this crazy stuff. So there's some pretty cool things throughout each and every one of these steps that just kind of put a typical VSL funnel on crack. And I'm going to kind of show you how that all works. So again, we want to run meta ads. You can start at like 20 or 25 bucks a day if you want to. I recommend starting with my clients. We start at about 50 bucks a day, 100 bucks a day kind of thing. And you can scale from there once it's already working. We want to minimize the financial risk as much as physically possible, because a lot of people with normal call funnels, what they'll do is they'll go out and spend $4,000 and be like, well, it's sort of kind of maybe working a little bit, or they're struggling to close and they're like hardly making any money, if any at all. A lot of people just lose money and stop. So this helps us mitigate that risk, right? So what we're doing is we're selling a $49 roadmap. And so what exactly is this roadmap? Long story short, it's kind of like you can imagine a little snippet or trial of your high ticket service or expertise. So if there's a particular funnel that you run, like my funnel here, what I sell for my roadmap is the roadmap for this funnel and how it works, and giving deeper insights. What do the ads look like? What do the funnel steps look like? How do you get people to book in, right, on the call? How do you even conduct that call in the first place? And just giving a much deeper dive into all these things, as well as some really nice little quick tip ROI bonus things to make the $49 just a complete no-brainer and a really, really easy impulse purchase. So again, we want to sell that for 49 bucks on a landing page. Sometimes we need upsells, sometimes we don't need upsells. That kind of depends on the niche that you're in. Generally speaking, the bigger the niche, the broader the niche or the market, the better this performs and the less upsells you need. Meaning, by the better this performs, what I really mean is that you just don't need as many upsells to make your money back, because CPMs are lower on the ads and your clicks are cheaper, and yeah, it's relatively simple. So once people purchase, they're purchasing straight off a landing page. You're not having a conversation with them. They're just going straight to the checkout. They put their card details in, and then they go and they purchase. Very simple. So this person is paying you before you ever speak with them. We also want to make sure, though, that on the landing page, what we're doing is using the right messaging to attract the right people, because you don't want to just be getting someone who has $300 in their bank account who's spending 50 of those dollars to have a chat with you, and it becomes a complete waste of your time, right? So we want to make sure we're bringing the right people through, which is really important. And again, that's a big reason why we want to use meta ads for this, is to do the most rapid testing possible and get to a point where you're making a 1-to-1 or a 0.9 to 1 or a 1.1 to 1 on your ads just from the low ticket alone. Because then you're getting customers, or you're getting leads, however you want to put it, for free, or just about for free, right? They're free or they're 90% off. I'm happy either way, right? Now, one thing that's really interesting is once they purchase the roadmap, you get automatic bookings. And for me, 75 to 80% of my purchasers of the roadmap, or the VSL, if you will, and I'll get into that piece in a second, 75 to 80% of them just book a call straight on their own. And that's because what we're doing in large part is we're delivering the roadmap itself and the customization of the roadmap on a call. So they need to book in to fully receive the value of what they've purchased. Now, just to be clear, this isn't like a sales call trap funnel. Like, it's not meant to be bait and switch or sketchy or anything like that. If somebody doesn't want to be sold, we don't want to sell them, right? There's a permission to pitch piece on the actual call that we want to cover to make sure that we're not pissing people off, right? Because these are your customers and you want to treat them as well as physically possible and show them that they can trust you with their money, that you provide immense value, and that it's worth considering working together in the future at some point if they don't want to right now or aren't prepared to, because not everybody is, right? But anyway, 75 to 80% for me are automatically booking. I'm seeing that across clients who are executing on my strategy as well. And then from there, show rates, since people are paying for this, we're seeing show rates in the range of about 90%, 85% kind of thing. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but somewhere in that range, 85 to 90% is pretty reasonable, and it's what we're seeing. So when you think about it, right, like now you're getting calls booked for borderline free. The show rate is significantly higher than a normal call funnel. So far, so good, right? Now, once people actually show up on the call, we do a typical Zoom call like you would for a normal sales call. What you want to do is first and foremost, deliver the roadmap and give them as much value as possible. Deliver the roadmap, give them a mini consult, I call it, to tailor the roadmap to them. And a good half the call is just providing them value. Because how else are we going to, or what better way to build trust and convince somebody to work with us than by showing them that we know what we're talking about and that our strategy is really good. Now, one thing that's pretty cool though, that makes these calls so warm is that people are booking on pre-sold, because one of the things that we do that I mentioned before is we provide people a preview video, I call it, where what we're doing is we're giving kind of like a high-level overview of the funnel in more detail. And that's the VSL piece, where at the beginning we're saying, hey, if you haven't booked your call, go book a call. And then we're giving them a bunch of value. And then at the end we're saying, hey, again, you need to book your call to really see the roadmap and for this to all make sense, right? So we're giving them a ton of value, but also pre-selling them on the strategy before the call itself. So like, it's really ultimately benefiting them. Like, the goal of this is to provide as much value as possible. We want them to get $500, $1,000 worth of value out of this $49. Or maybe they buy some upsells and it's $150 that they give you on average, right? Which is the case for me. So if that's the case, then we want to be giving them 10, 20 times that value, $1,500, $3,000 worth of value, right? And then from here, again, on the call, what we're doing is we're giving them that roadmap. We're doing a screen share. It's kind of like a flow chart, right? 5, 6 steps, your kind of main core steps of what you do. We want to make sure it's customized and differentiated, and that the steps actually make sense and are better, right? Like you can see even with this isn't my roadmap, but you can see that each step of this process has an improvement to it. We're liquidating the ad budget here, we're rapid testing, we're minimizing financial risk, we're getting a huge percentage of automatic bookings. Like with a normal VSL, the lead to booked call KPI for automatic bookings from a VSL, meaning people who book in on their own, is 5%. We're seeing 75 to 80% of people book in completely on their own. And like, let's pretend it was 50% of people, right? That's great compared to 5%, right? And the amount of phone setting that needs to be done for this compared to that is just night and day, right? You don't need to be calling a million $10 leads all day long who are just clicking around and signing up to things. This is somebody who purchased from you, right? And for the people who don't book, yeah, give them a call for sure. And the thing is, you can do that as the business owner. You'll get a way higher booking rate because you'll be better than any setters that you'll have. If you have a sales rep, if you have a setter, they can do it, and I'd recommend that. But if it's just you as the business owner, it's so easy and low maintenance to do these calls. Like, you'll have a few calls a week to make. It's really, really light work to push you up to, you know, an 80 and 90% plus booking rate, right? So again, though, when we're on this call, what we want to do is, after delivering the roadmap, after providing the mini consult, we want to ask for permission to pitch, right? And there's a really particular way that you need to do it. And this call does require some care. You need to make sure you're saying things in the right way, asking the right questions. Otherwise, none of this is going to work, and it's all basically just going to collapse. Same thing with the landing page. It's pretty nuanced. All these steps are kind of particular and specific. So it's pretty easy to mess this up if you were to like go and try it on your own right now. I encourage it, don't get me wrong. But just be weary if you're going to just give it a rip. it's, I guess, easier said than done. And then from there, once you get permission to pitch, again, by asking the right question in the right way, pretty much every person is going to at least hear you out, right? And then from there, upselling it at least, 20% is KPI, away you go, right? If you're upselling at 10% and you're paying, you're at a 0.9 to 1 on your ads, like it's costing you $50, $100, maybe even if your metrics are worse than a 0.9 to 1 and you're at like a 0.7 to 1 or a 0.5 to 1, which I don't recommend personally. KPI for this is 0.7 to 1. But even if that's the case, and you're spending $300 out of pocket, right? Meaning you've acquired X number of clients, you've made some money back, and so you're at a loss of $300 to acquire a $5,000 client. Like, who cares? I'll do that all day long, right? So that's really the idea. That's how you're at a 16, 17x on your actual capital. For me, my ideal client for someone who's looking to install this is an agency or a coach who's between roughly the $10,000 to $100,000 per month range. Generally speaking, a lot of my clients have or have not run ads for themselves before. Maybe they've tried it without success. Maybe they haven't tried it. Maybe they've tried it with success, kind of in that range. And I work with people to implement this. So shameless plug, if you do want to do that and work with me personally for a limited time before I hire team members to help with the client fulfillment side of things, then book a call with me in the description. We can have a chat about it. Otherwise, fully encourage you to give this a try if you're thinking about running ads. That's about it. So otherwise, you can click whatever's popping up on screen here, and I'll see you there.